Greetings everybody, I'm Nick D'Virgilio and this is Mr. Don Carr, and today we're here to talk about the MercuryX pedal from Meris, an incredible reverb pedal that is really way more than just reverb. It's beautiful reverb and all kinds of other great sounds. It's a soundscape machine in a box, and it's a lot of fun to mess with.
Yes, it is. Beautiful sounds, man.
For sure. We're gonna play it through some tracks from a song that we created here at Sweetwater through Pro Tools, so you hear it on drums, vocals, a drum loop, that kind of thing. And then later on in the video, Don's gonna play guitar directly through it, like if you would have it on your pedal board with your other stuff. And there's just so much you can do with this pedal. Now, if you like what you hear today, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video. If you have any questions at all about this particular piece of gear, make sure you contact your Sweetwater sales engineer or go to the best-in-class website at sweetwater.com and get all the information you may need about this incredible piece of gear. And with all that being said, let's have some fun.
Let's do it.
All right. We're going to start with the drum track, and we'll just put the reverb on the snare drum like you would with any reverb, right?
Sure.
Here's what it sounds like without anything on it. Pretty mellow, but now let's put on this guy. I don't know where we're at, but let's see. Woo! Okay, dry, and let me turn up the reverb. All the way to the right means it's completely wet, right? So let's go back down towards the middle. And that's just a nice, clean, tiled room sound, you know, pretty right down the middle.
Yep.
But it'd be good to put on a snare drum, give it a little bit of life.
Right, super useful, super clean sounding.
Yeah, let's try one of the more normal sounding ones.
There's a, vocal plates next. What's that? Aural. There you go. Nice.
Large hall. I'll start with it all the way off, and then we'll turn it on as we go. Here we go. So a very useful hall. That's not the right sound for this kind of track. It's a little bit too long of a reverb, but you have that here, and you could go in here and tweak that reverb and make it smaller and do whatever you want to. But there's so many great presets. You're not really going to need to menu dive if you don't want to. If that's not the thing, if that's not your thing, getting into deep into the weeds with menus.
You don't have to, man.
You really don't have to with this pedal because there's so many amazing presets.
I know, and it's really easy to start accessing sounds because all of your basic controls are right there.
Right there in the top.
Yeah.
And we'll show you how to menu dive too, of course, because there's amazing things you can do once you learn what those functions do on the inside. It's incredible. All right, now we went for a little bit of a crazier sound. This one's really cool, and you'd have to do this to taste, right? If you're going to use it in a track like this, might be good for the end of the song, but if you like fun stuff, it's
pretty
right
cool.
here. It's right on the top of the box. Check it out. This one's called Hold Collapse. So there's a modifier on the last button of the pedal here, which you can assign to do all kinds of different things. This particular track, the modifier does this. Let me solo that for you. So with the mix all the way down, it has a little bit of a filtered sound, but once I start turning up the mix, all the delay time and the long reverb tails there, but then you do this.
Love
so imagine putting that on the end of your song, and the song stops, and it just goes, kind of just folds into itself.
Yeah, you could put that on the whole track even. That'd be amazing.
Totally.
Yeah.
So that's just a few really cool examples of what that can do on a snare drum. What about some voice, some vocal? So we have a good friend of ours here at Sweetwater named Annika Bovender, and she's the vocalist on this track. She's got a very pure, nice female voice, and let's put some Verb on it. All right, let me first play a little bit of Annika's voice with no music so you can hear the tone of her voice.
Reach down, hold the sound, feel light, super tight.
She's got a great voice. Now, If I just put this into Virtual 1 and 2 here in Pro Tools, it will be into the reverb.
Reach down, hold the sound, feel light, super tight, smile once, and then again, reach down.
Yeah, really cool plate sound.
Yeah.
Pretty, it just adds a little bit of flavor, a little bit of sauce.
A little bit of color, man, and you know, right.
Reach down, hold the sound, feel light, super tight, smile once, and then again.
Yeah, that's a really nice sound.
It really is.
Here's another cool sound for you. It's called Evolutionary number 32, and what happens is when you set it to latch, once you press the button, the modifier will stay on.
Right.
You can also have it to...
momentary.
You can also have the button be momentary, so you have to hold down the button to keep the modifier going. This one is latched. And when you put this on, the modifier, it adds a little filtering sort of effect deep in the background of this long reverb tail, which is cool. So I'll turn it up and you can really hear it doing it.
Reach down, hold the sound, feel light, super tight.
So just a nice long verb.
That kind of futuristic sounded even a little bit, man. It's crazy, man.
Down,
here comes the modifier.
Yeah.
hold the
2,
sound,
3, 4.
feel light, super tight, smile once.
It's almost like she's out in space all of a sudden, right? There's
I
some
know.
spaceships going on around her.
Man, it's moving so slow. It's crazy,
Feel
man.
light, super tight, smile once.
That's really cool.
And then again, reach down.
And that decay is just, it decays perfectly,
It's
really. I mean, it
pristine,
just
man.
really goes away. There's no artifacts at the end when it's really
Not
quiet.
even-
It's really beautiful. Okay, there's one other sort of weirder one I'd like to play for you. Now, this one may not fit this tune in particular, but it's a great sound. Number 21 is called 7 SEQ for sequence. And the more you turn up the mix knob, the more it adds this crazy pitched sequence to the sound. It's awesome. Check it out.
Reach down, hold the sound.
Okay, so let's put this, that's the initial sound. I'm going to put it in the track without turning up the knob, because that little bit of a weird effect might sound cool in the background of the track. So.
Good point.
Reach down, hold the sound, feel light.
Well, now let's turn it up.
Smile once, and then again, reach down, hold the sound, feel light, super tight, smile once, and then again, reach down.
And again, a great tail. And so just some really cool, different sort of effects that you may not think would fit in your sort of straight ahead song. But if you put that in there, just a little taste of that kind of stuff in there, man, it could really take up a song's fun factor to a whole other level for sure.
I mean, man, this thing just makes sounds I've honestly never heard before, which I think is spectacular, man.
Okay. Here's what the drum loop sounds like with nothing on it. A little snappy. Nice little low end bump in there. Now, let's put on some Verb.
Let's do it.
This one has a fun hold to it in the modifier. This number 49 swell hold SW. When you press the modifier button, it holds the last thing it heard and kind of takes away everything else. And all you hear is the tail of the reverb for a while. Then you can press the modifier button again and have the track come back. So check it out. So it's a really long sound, right? Lots going on there. But 3, 4. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
You could do some fun stuff with that. If you put this in the track and hold. That's pretty cool. So you can have that effect kind of tail off in the background and then come back in and out. And you're kind of doing that in real time.
Yeah.
All right, here's an interesting one. Patch number 51, Uplift. The modifier does some really fun things with this one. Check it out.
That's cool. There's a couple of those that do that pitch drop thing.
Yeah,
man.
it's
That's
pretty
awesome.
neat.
Yeah. Cool, man. Let's hear this on guitar. What do you think?
I think we should.
I think we should. Okay, so we got kind of a good normal sounding one here. This is called Amp Room, and the modifier kicks in a delay, so it's almost like, you know, it's a kind of built-in guitar tone, right?
Go for it.
So here it is, dry.
I'll put the delay on.
Cool.
Yeah. Easy. Sounds great.
Sounds great.
It's got a lot of stuff built right into that one patch.
Right. Yeah, so this one's like the trippy, crazy tape loop sort of thing.
Okay.
Really gets weird, man.
So what's happening with the modifier is it's got a tap tempo feature to it, so it's speeding up or slowing down the delay depending on how fast I'm hitting the button.
Right.
Which when it's really slow and you hit it fast, you could hear the delay ramp up to this faster speed.
Right, in
and
the
vice versa.
repeats. Yeah, you hear it in the repeats.
So that's
Very
pretty cool.
Parallels. This is like an octave verb, right? Isn't that
It
what this
is.
Yeah.
And the modifier does some fun stuff on this one as well.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah. Will you try something for me?
Yeah.
Will you do some swells on your with your volume knob?
Sure. Okay.
So you can really get into some sound design with this pedal and really tweak and just have fun with these ethereal, fun, just bizarre sounds. But they can be totally musical as well.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, let's look at how to like tweak this stuff a little bit. Get an idea what's going on here. So to get into the menu, you just press the preset button, right? And then that's your first menu right there. Is this kind of like basic, it shows the decay, pre-delay, mod, and mix, right? Is that what's going on here?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's easy enough to, it's easy enough to change stuff pretty quickly.
Right, and when you make the adjustments, you could see the screen move. Cool.
So the next menu, just give this a turn, and then you're into this kind of, the global looking stuff here. And to get around to each one of these options, so this is all for the pre-delay, right? So we got the dry blend and the pre-delay, damping, right? Mod, half speed, which is really cool effect. Crossfeed feedback, right? And then to adjust whatever you selected here, right? It's that, right? So now if we want to get out of pre-delay and into the actual reverb itself, structure is like what type of reverb it is, right?
Okay.
Of course, you've got the gate decay, gate hold, gate attack.
So when you make the adjustment, so we're at the poly blend and you want
Right.
to change that, when you turn this knob,
Yeah.
you could see whether it's a name or a number just above the name poly blend, which is highlighted in white. The thing right above that in gray is the adjustment. So if it had a different name, and when you turn this knob, you would see the name change.
Right.
This one has a percentage, so as I turn the knob, you can see the percentage change in number form, and then also it goes up the
Yeah, in the graph form.
in the
there,
graph
yeah.
form as well, so you
Yeah.
can see what you're doing.
Yeah. Easy enough to do. And then just like now you're into your next, set of parameters. You got dynamics, you've got a preamp, you've got, filtering, pitch change, modulation, all the mix parameters. Man, you can dial this thing to go any direction with the mix parameters. This is nuts, man. Wet trim, dry trim, mix.
Yeah, so depending on your setup, if you have it in your guitar pedal board or you're using it as a piece of outboard gear, those little tweaks with the dry or the wet trim can really dial in how much of the reverb you have going through your system. And so, you really tweak it to the situation you're in.
Right, and each structure is going to have a different set of parameters as well. Right. This is a real basic structure, so it only has a few, parameters for each one. But some of the more crazy, algorithms are going to have more stuff to it.
Right.
And then you're on to the modifiers, which that's and expression pedal setup, global settings, system info, and you're back to that screen right there. And then if you want to just do that, there you are, man.
I'll mention it again. While getting in there and tweaking all those deep dive parameters can really turn this into a magical machine and go a million different places.
Right, be exactly what you want.
If you're having a hard time figuring those little things out, at first glance, just play with the presets. There's 84 presets that come when you open the box up, and then you have a bunch of blank presets as well, so you can customize your presets, do your tweaks, and then save them to your own spot. So you can customize patches however you see fit. But there's something for everybody is what I'm getting at here. You don't have to deep dive if you don't want to.
Right.
You can have a lot of fun just by turning the mix knob only.
Yeah.
But then once you learn the machine a little bit more, there's a lot that can be done.
Nick, thanks for doing this with me, man.
Of
I really
course.
appreciate it.
This is
Very
a
fun.
really fun machine.
It sure is, man. This is great. The track's great, too. Really fun to hear this thing in action, right?
Yeah, and it's just, we're just scratching the surface, too.
Oh,
so I
gosh,
think
yeah.
there's so much that can be done with this, and this would be a really great piece to just sit on my desk for a long time.
Right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Do you have a favorite sound? Let us know in the comments. And please like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions about the MercuryX or any other Meris product, make sure to contact your Sweetwater sales engineer or check us out at sweetwater.com. Thanks.